So, as we talked about, in the first 12 picks, 6 quarterbacks were taken. That's the shortest amount that it's ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, the fastest to 6 quarterbacks, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
by far.
Oh, yeah. I think the closest, the other one, the 83 draft, which is obviously everybody knows that with the, Marino, Elway, Kelly, Todd Blackledge, those type of guys.
Yeah.
That one, there was 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 27 picks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Because Miami took them late. Mike Marino late, I think the 27th. So this one where we had Caleb Williams at 1, Jaden Daniels at 2, Drake May at 3, Michael Penix Jr. at 8, surprise, your boy JJ McCarthy at 10, and Bo Nix at 12. First and foremost, this is crazy. Caleb, Jaden, Drake, I saw that. JJ was jumping up, and with the need, he was kind of paired with Minnesota. I saw that. Penix and Bo Nix, I've heard a lot of hype about them. I knew it with Penix with his injury issues was a problem for me. And then Bo Nix, I thought could have gone second round. What do you think about this being the first 12? Do you think this is all correct? Like, you think it was all warranted?
Penix, no. The amount of times I've heard different angles on why they would do that pick, I still don't get it. I still don't believe it was a good pick. Bo Nix, I thought, was a perfect fit for the Broncos. I thought, personally, they would trade back with someone like Philly and take him in the 20s. But at 12, I don't hate it, especially with how the quarterbacks went off the board. I think fit-wise, JJ in Minnesota is phenomenal. I just hate I have to see him twice a year in a different jersey. The first 3 quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, I think makes a ton of sense. Apparently, the Patriots got some wicked offers from both the Giants and the Vikings, 4-3 to get Drake May and turn them both down. I think the Vikings, it was 3 first-round picks, the 11, 23, and their first next year, along with like a second or something. And the Giants, it was 6, their like a second-round pick and their first next year. And they said no to all of those. I think 5 of these are really good fits. Drake May is probably going to sit a year. I think it's very smart by New England. You throw Brissett out there this year, let him play, build the rest of that roster next year, let these young guys develop this year, and then plant Drake May in there next year. I think you're golden. Caleb in Chicago with what they've built, that's a borderline playoff team this year. I feel very strongly that could be one of the wild card teams this year, pushing 10 wins. I think that's a very good situation there. I love Jaden Daniels being in Washington with you guys. He's got plenty of weapons to work with. Like you said, he's got that mobility to kind of maybe mask some of the inefficiencies of the offensive line. And what you guys have done defensively, I think Daniels is a great fit. And again, another potential wild card team this year. JJ with Minnesota right now, I think that throws them right back up into fighting for the division with us and Green Bay. Bo Nix in Denver, I think it'll take a year or 2, but then he'll be really good for them. More so just kind of building those weapons back up for him. I really like him as kind of Drew Brees for Sean Payton. They both got that same kind of the good arm, the accuracy, the poise in the pocket, both mentally strong, like what Bo Nix went through. And I think an underrated thing for Bo Nix that a lot of people don't realize, Bo Nix had, I think it was 6 different offensive coordinators in college.
Oh my goodness.
So it's not going to take him long to pick up this offense because he's done it time and time and time again. So I think Bo Nix will be your day 1 starter. I think Caleb's day 1 starter, Jaden's day 1 starter, and JJ's day 1 starter. Penix, to me, it's either he's starting sometime soon and you waste the money in Kirk Cousins, or Kirk Cousins plays really well. Penix doesn't start till like the end of his contract, and you're giving a guy you haven't seen play starting quarterback money because that's probably what he's going to warrant coming off his rookie deal. You could have had a Dallas Turner, a Terrion Arnold, a Byron Murphy. You could have had one of the best defensive players in the draft.
Right.
I don't get it. Like you had the ability to go full win now mode.
Right.
And I get the whole looking at what the Packers have done with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre and all that, letting the quarterback sit and develop and then go. But those were also in the 20s.
Yeah.
They were like pick 25 and 28, something like that. You're doing it at pick number 8.
Come on.
I don't.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind, man. Honestly, it blows my mind. And I look at your division. I look at the North. You look at Detroit with James Williams and Amon-Ra. You know, you look at Green Bay, those young receivers, bringing that up. Chicago, we obviously seen what they did in the draft, but at this pick, they didn't have Odunze yet. They had just DJ Moore and they had Keenan Allen. So you paid Kirk Cousins $100+ million guaranteed, and you're not going to give him any weapon. You ain't going to tell me Drake London is that number 1 for you guys, or Kyle Pitts. And I'm not trying to dog these guys, but they just have not. They haven't done it.
I don't think either of them have had a quarterback to throw them the ball personally. True. I think Drake London's a number 1.
Taylor would have given them a chance. He would have just thrown it up there, Taylor Heineke, and just said whatever. But
I think London can be your number 1.
Yeah.
And then I think you allow some of those guys like Darnell Mooney and them to be number 2s, number 3s like they should be. I think their weapons are pretty set. They need a couple more guys on that defense. Where I was like, why?
But even still, does any of the receivers on that team, are any of them better than Odunze?
No.
Because if they don't pick Penix, I mean, yes, I would also go defense. They've made a couple moves on that D, but I would have gone to wide receiver. I would have given your quarterback one of the best weapons out there. It's just weird. I just don't understand kind of where they're going. Ben said you're not going to get a 100% Kirk Cousins to start the year. Plus,
I actually disagree with that.
Well, I have 2 years. Listen to contracts from this standpoint. I think MP is a perfect spot, in my opinion.
So I love it for Penix. Penix going to sit for 2 years. Like, it makes sense on Penix's end. For me, it's Atlanta that it doesn't make sense. And we're looking at it where we're saying Kirk isn't going to be healthy to start the season, but yet we expect Aaron Rodgers to be healthy to start the season. It was only like a 5-week difference, guys.
Right.
Kirk Cousins went down somewhere between like week 6, week 8. So if we're saying that Rodgers is going to be healthy or is going to be healthy to start the season, but Cousins isn't, I have a hard time believing that. I think Cousins is going to be ready to go. And it's a damn good offensive line. You've got Bijan, Tyler Algier, all that. You don't even need Cousins to be 100% to start the season with that running game and all that. So I just, on Atlanta's side, I don't get it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Now, my other part to this is...
And Ben's absolutely right there with that post.
My other thing was, they came out that Cousins, there was tampering involved, right? Before coming to Atlanta?
Yeah.
So have they...
Or that they were looking into it, I guess. Okay. Nothing's come out. They're looking into it, but yeah.
So somebody, I was, shout out to Tina, Broncos fan. She was sitting there saying that, if something does come about from that, then what if there was a potential suspension? Maybe what if he had 2-game suspension? Then you have somebody to come in as opposed to whoever the random backup is. Then you have a young guy, you can see what he's got and go from there.
See, I don't personally think there'd be any suspension for Kirk. I think it would be penalties on the team.
For the team, yeah.
Personally, because the tampering's more a team penalty than it is the player. And I think it would be something to when, similar to when Miami was caught tampering with Brady and Sean Payton and those kind of guys.
Okay, gotcha.
Where you'll get fined pretty heavily. You'll lose a couple mid-round picks. Like, it won't be anything severe. Yeah. It might be worse since they actually signed him, but I don't see anything happening to Kirk because of that. I see things happening to Atlanta because of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting. But like you mentioned, health, is definitely something on everybody's mind, because if we're going to
Yeah.
give Aaron Rodgers the benefit of the doubt, then let's go to the same thing with Kirk. And then even on top of that, even if health is even anywhere on your mind, which we see it's not for them, then you would even maybe put a question mark on Penix, because over the last 6 years, his health injury history. Right. So, you know what I mean? Not to mention that there's a lot of tread on those tires because he played at 2 different schools, but it's going to be interesting. Again, like they were saying, hey, we'll see. Either this is the right pick and it works out, or they're going to be second guessing this one for a long, long time. But I will say this: Kyle Yacy, our guy,
he not happy.
He wasn't thrilled, even though he got 2 more quarterbacks than he's had. He wasn't thrilled at it. Ugh.
Now the one last thing to throw on that I forgot to mention, and this goes for Bo Nix too, but especially Penix, since we're not expecting to play for at least 2 years.
Mm.
When it's time, especially if they use that 5th-year option, when it's time to give him an extension, he'll be 29. When you're looking to give Caleb or JJ, one of these guys, an extension, they'll be 24, 25.
Right.
I know that doesn't sound like that big a difference, but when you're talking that first extension, that's a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah. Especially with everybody talking about being on the wrong side of 30. Who's on the wrong side of 30? If you get to 30, blah, 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 blah. So, you want to get these guys a lot younger.
Like, to put this in perspective, Jared Goff is in the works on getting his second big extension. Mm-hmm. He's 29.
Yeah.
Ooh. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, man. You're going to go back to the days of getting those the guys like Chris Winkie, who's in the league already on Social Security. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, those days. But look, so as we saw, all those guys got picked, and, we're going to be going back and forth about this for the years to come, hopefully positively for some of these guys.
So. I hope so for all of them, personally. But...
obviously. I'm a little invested in one, but yes. Actually, in 2, to be honest, in 2 I'm invested in. So
yeah, I was going to say.